In metro schools, African-American children are 3 times more likely to be kicked out of school and more than twice as likely to be given out-of-school suspensions. News Channel 5's Andrea Klein-Thomas is here to tell us more about a new program that is really trying to address this problem.
Absolutely. It's called the Passage Program. Nashville joins LA, Chicago, and New York City in trying to tackle disparities in discipline practices. And the problem isn't necessarily with the kids, but with how race factors into how adults respond to them.
Does anybody have 5 plus 14?
It's close.
Experts say every action a child exhibits is a form of communication, even if it's not channeled in the most appropriate way.
A lot of times what we see is that the actions of children are actually crying out for assistance and may be perceived as aggressive or defiant by different individuals, which generates an office referral, which begins the disciplinary process.
That disciplinary process is often sought for African American students in metro schools, especially boys. While African Americans make up less than half of the student population, they account for 76% of all expulsions, triple all other races combined. Last school year, they also made up 69% of all out-of-school suspensions.
Do children of color, are they more problematic than white children?
And my answer to that question would be no.
It's also known as a discipline gap, and the impact creates a slippery slope that includes increased likelihood not to graduate, a perpetuation of poverty, and in the most extreme cases, incarceration.
This is not a launch for a one-time initiative. We're here to do work.
Now let's talk about out-of-school suspension.
Today, school and community leaders gathered at Trevecca University for the official launch of the Passage Program. It's aimed at ending racial and other disparities in discipline practices.
We can't continue down the same trajectory of incarcerating young people at the rate that we're doing and trying to convince ourselves that we've made society better by doing that. We haven't.
That's why the Oasis Center is helping lead the charge to make sure parents and students are heard.
If you want to talk about the problem, you have to be willing to be part of the solution.
Partnerships are vital to Passage's success that will not only change policies, but definitely change mindsets.
Parents will be urged to provide feedback, but also to work to identify and correct behavior problems early. Meanwhile, the district will see if current policies are adding to this problem. And Jessica, they'll also provide better training to educators, and they say also more support to schools.
All right, Andrea, interesting stuff. Thank you. And this is a problem the entire nation is struggling with. Now, for 2 years, the Atlantic Philanthropies organization is funding that project. Even when funding ends, Metro School says it's committing to that program long term.